folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast. This week's news brought to you by Grab the Cash Now. Yes, let's start with the biggest story in movie news this week, and probably the whole year. So Netflix has won the bid to acquire Warner Bros. Discovery, or at least its movie studios and streamer HBO Max, not its cable division. Netflix reportedly offered around $28 a share for a total, almost all-cash deal, but overall a cash and stock deal of $82.7 billion. The announcement came Friday morning when news broke that Netflix and Warner entered exclusive negotiations. And boy, oh boy, did that start some shit. So basically, here's where everything stands currently. The two companies are still working out the details of the purchase. Co-CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, came out and said that basically nothing is changing right now, so all apps and release schedules will continue as normal as things get processed. Netflix also said that they will be respecting the theatrical releases that Warner has slated for the future, but also, that being said, Ted Sarandos essentially took that back when he had a call with investors. So Sarandos said, quote, "I wouldn't look at this as a change in approach for Netflix movies or for Warner movies. I think over time, the windows will evolve to be much more consumer-friendly, to be able to meet the audience where they are quicker. I'd say now you should count on everything that is planned on going to the theater through Warner Brothers will continue to go to the theaters through Warner Brothers. And Netflix movies will take the same strides they have, which is, some of them do have a short run in theaters beforehand, but our primary goal is to bring first-run movies to our members, because that's what they're looking for," end quote. Okay, so basically, Netflix will allow the near-future Warner films to have a normal release, and after that, the whole windows evolve to be more consumer-friendly he talked about basically means that the movies after that are going to have an incredibly short run in the theaters before going straight onto this streamer, so essentially ruining any chance for box office success. Sarandos has chastised studios in the past, saying that long theatrical runs are not consumer-friendly. So he basically said what the plan is. It probably will lead to theater closures if they go this route. Eliminating one of the biggest and most profitable studios for the theaters would wreak havoc on both large and local theaters. Now, all of this has spurred a whole lot of heartburn across the industry, and even further. So the major unions and guilds have come out against it. Hundreds of industry leaders, including A-list directors, have sent an open letter to Congress. Chris Nolan, newly elected president of the Directors Guild, will be meeting with Netflix's top brass to address the serious concerns of the guild. Both Republicans and Democrats are looking to stop the deal. Trump officials are rumored to be highly skeptical of the acquisition. The DOJ has announced multi-year investigations into the lobbying effort behind Netflix and any antitrust laws along with the streaming monopoly concerns. Now, of course, Trump himself is much warmer with Paramount and the Ellison family, so you can see how they might have a dog in the fight. But overall, who would have thought that the great 2025 unifying event would be just a renowned hatred for Netflix's business model? I mean, really, everyone is between angry to scared shitless over this acquisition. It's actually kind of shocking how no one is really happy about it, other than Netflix and some people at Warner. Now, moving forward, this deal could take 12 to 18 months to get finalized, if it gets finalized. This seriously might not make it through, though. The government might put an end to it. And at that point, then what? Because Warner wants to sell, and what needle would Paramount and Universal need to thread to make their deal go through when Netflix's didn't? And this now leads to another development. Paramount and David Ellison, well, they're pissed, and they're calling it a rigged deal due to the buddy-buddy nature of the CEOs, and Paramount says that their offer was actually worth more money than the Netflix bid, so shareholders will be losing out on an even bigger payday. That now brings us to today, where Paramount is making a full-on hostile bid, going over the board at Warner and bringing it straight to the shareholders. The Ellison-led Paramount Skydance is offering $30 per share and a total offer of $108 billion, $26 billion over the total Netflix offer, which is pretty insane. They're publicly stating that the Netflix transaction provides Warner Bros. Shareholders with inferior and uncertain value. And they're talking up the fact that Paramount will simply buy everything and not carve up the company, since Netflix only plans on buying the studio streamer side. Paramount even created a new site called Stronger Hollywood, where they promise to satisfy the needs of the movie-going public and that they will release 30-plus films a year in theaters. They are going all in on this and pushing very aggressively. Ted Sarandos over at Netflix kind of shrugged off the Paramount push, saying that they fully expected them to make a counteroffer, but their deal with Warner was done and is confident it will go through, and that Netflix promises to protect jobs in the entertainment industry. Warner Brothers, for their part, has come out now and said that they will carefully review the Paramount offer, and they will issue a recommendation within 10 days. So there it is. After all the hoopla, the bidding war basically kind of continues much like last week, though the heat has gotten turned up a few notches and the money trees have started to bloom and bloom more and more. So we will keep you updated through all of the muck and the mess of this. An unbelievable amount of stories have been published on this over the past week, so I'll kind of do my best to just keep you in the know with the most important aspects of the acquisition. Other than that, there was a flurry of kind of smaller stories out there, but nothing too major. The Golden Globe nominees did come out, so go ahead and take a look if you are interested. No surprise that one, A Battle After Another, has the most nominations. Sinners and a film called Sentimental Value also garnered a number of noms as well. But with all that, let's jump on over to the box office for this past weekend. So fifth biggest over at the box office was Now You See Me, Now You Don't, with $3.5 million, a worldwide total of 210. Fourth was an anime called Jujutsu Kaisen Execution, and that made $10.1 million. Third for the weekend was Wicked for Good, making $17.4 million, with a worldwide total of 441. Second at the box office was Zootopia 2, making $43.4 million, and that movie, in only 2 weeks, is at $918 million worldwide. That is a crazy international push for that movie. And then the biggest movie, though, this weekend at the box office was Five Nights at Freddy's 2, making an extremely good $64 million for the opening weekend. Coming up this Thursday, Vincent Daly will be watching, rating, and reviewing. We'll be covering a film that came out a few months ago, and this was called Ballad of a Small Player. It was directed by Edward Berger, the same guy who made All Quiet on the Western Front and Conclave from last year. That movie is now on Netflix, by the way. Then we have Jay Kelly. That is a new release over on Netflix, and that's directed by Noah Baumbach. And finally, Vincent Daly is in the theaters this week for newly released Five Nights at Freddy's 2, directed by Emma Tammy. But that's it for your weekly movie news here, folks. We'll leave you today with a quote from a co-CEO, Ted Sarandos. If you want to go out and see a movie and sit in a dark room with strangers, it's not an experience you can replicate at home. And all right, folks, the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast, that was it. See you on Thursday.